Om. So we are on the page 54 of 54? No, we did 54. 55, 60, we're on page 60. So you're doing 58 occasionally, right? Namasambhavaya, Mahabhavaya, yeah, do that. Do it loudly. Do it loudly. Can somebody do it loudly? JJ, you are doing it?
No, I didn't do this one.
Doing it? Okay. You are doing it?
Not as much as I would like to.
Okay, just read.
Namaha Shambhavaya Cha Mayo Bhavaya Cha Namaha Shankaraya Cha Mayaskaraya Cha Namaha Shivaya Cha Shivtaraya Cha.
Right.
I think
You
cha is a
use
part
that cha,
of
you
this
use
part
that
of
cha
this.
together with the for the melody, not for the grammar. Namah Shambhavaya cha Mayo Bhavaya cha Namah Sankaraya cha Mayaskaraya cha Namah Sivaya cha Sivataraya cha Namah Paraya cha Paraya cha. Like that. You know, it should be, eventually it should be like that. Right? But at the beginning, Namah Sambhavaya cha. Right? So, cha, what it says there is that it's a part of a larger stream. So, cha is the and. So, I'm saying? So, like another name, which has already started. We're kind of accepting from a stotra. You know what I mean? We are in somewhere there. So, basically, there are names before. So, now he says, okay, Sambhavaya. Cha, yes, Mayobhavaya, you know, like that. So it's like a different, it's like a Sahasranama. You know what I mean? Different names, right? And so.
So on that, why is lay so important?
Hmm?
Why is lay so important? Is it because
Law is not important. Law is important for your own concentration. For your own concentration to see that whether you can really control your mind. You know what I'm saying? When you really feeling aligned with these words. The words are not separate from you. So the question, different people may have different laya. So neurologically, what it could be happening is that you have a certain rhythm. You know, breath, your muscles, you know what I mean? It may have a rhythm to you. You know, why you like certain music, why you like certain food, why you like certain things. Some people are morning people, some evening people. All that is personal. So law is a part of that. In the sense that I have this following way. If I speak, I enjoy it. You know what I mean? And why so many letters and so on, they're saying? So that you can, you concentrate. So that's the chanting they have designed. But that doesn't mean that that's the chanting you adopt. But empirically, it seems to work. Until you come with a different, you know what I mean?
your own?
Right. See, which has to do with how many matras it has, how clearly, eloquently you can say them without breaking up, how much time you need, and where do you breathe. Where do you breathe is important, right? And so they are saying that you have, so basically once you do that, it will eventually, it becomes mantra. And what is mantra after all? Mantra after all, that particular thing I was telling her. You feel energetic. You know, when something is blocking you, your mind, or some tension, some thoughts is blocking you. They're not physical blocks, mental blocks. And then through this process, you unblocked it. You unblocked it because you just felt this, the yogic thing we call ananda. In a minute it will take its own time, so that's how they chant long time. Because ananda is difficult to reach. But if you really are ananda all the time, you don't really need, you don't have to even. You know what I'm saying? It's a question of how mechanically you can release yourself from your normal daily life with the assumption that daily life has tension. But if you refuse to take tension in life, you are safe. You know what I'm saying? Which is also possible. Which is possible in the sense you just don't touch anything that doesn't look wholesome. I should not teach that, but that's you physically can do that, but that's hard. That's much harder because you can't ask all the time, where does the money come from? You know what I'm saying? So you are interested, so if you say, look, I won't touch any bad money, so then, where do you go? But by virtue of touching bad money, you also have to do certain amount of lose your freedom. And once you start losing your freedom, you become internally tense. Because you don't feel like it, but, you know what I'm saying? So that's how it is. So whether we can gain the freedom, what Indian discovered is that you can be creatively operate, but that needs naturally a lot more blessings, a lot more sympathizers. People really admire or who respect, who think, yes, we will operate, will help this man in a way like that. But in modern days, it's not so easy.
Yeah, one thing I also experienced is you mentioned many times like you need to be really truthful and you need to speak your heart out. But then it doesn't work. People take you wrong. They just
It doesn't take, I don't think you have to tell your truth heart out to people who do not want to listen. But that's okay. Means I don't tell these things anywhere else. In the sense is, you have some latitude of contemplation. You're not too occupied in just daily living. But at the same time, to contest that, you have this other situation where I have to survive. And when I have to survive, somebody wants to own me. And I can't refuse ownership, my subjugation. Which you can, but provided, provided you have your own land, provided you are a farmer, provided you are endowed with certain things, and that we have to gradually go towards. At the present state, there is slavery around in the world. So what we are doing is we are trying to operate in that kind of a slavery base and to see that whether there is any other idealistic model exists in it, experience it. Society doesn't want you to be creative. Or they want to creative, you write their story. Conform to what they say. You know what I'm saying? not conform to what you think. You can be creative. There are a lot of writers, but they write for the Queen or they write for the American democracy, but so those are all phony phrases. Human freedom is not really American freedom. Human freedom is human freedom. You see what I'm saying? Human free like that. So that, suppose you want to experience the freedom under the context of your slavery, which people do. Mandela did.
Mm-hmm.
You say, you can't subjugate me. I'm a free soul. You know what I mean? So the examples are there. Okay, all right. So like that. So we discover that freedom, I think momentarily and gradually, but I think a model can be built where you have that freedom with you, but you are aware also that I'm sacrificing it for a cause. To support a family, I'm conditioned to it, but I'm free. Which means once that cause is removed, you still, you know what I'm saying? And what also means is that, you see, in this situation, once you try to give yourself away for slavery, that thing doesn't have any limit. Bribe, corruption, injury to others, all comes with it. Because you become part of this machine. Right? So the question is where you really cut yourself through. So they kind of created a phrase called aparigraha. Mm-hmm. Aparigraha means that I can't really have, I need stuff, but I don't need unnecessary stuff. Parigraha. Graha is grahana. Parigraha is whatever comes to me. Right? But aparigraha, I don't accept everything. Anything anti-community and this thing, people will say you are bright, use you. So you should have the courage to say no. But that can't happen unless you discover your own freedom. Because rationalization of cause, like yes, I did this, everything, every time there's a reason. See, once you compromise, build for yourself, well, sir, take another step. No, sir. No, sir. Because then I can really release myself, if I can. Okay, all right, chalo. So good that you are kind of interested in this kind of. But the point is, what we want to do is eventually the scriptures are rampant on this. I don't know how they made the stories rampant. You know what I mean? Discovery of human freedom. And nowhere in the world it has been so rampant to declare that human being is free. And no king, and nobody else. No, nothing. You're free. Not only you're free, you are sanatana. You know what I'm saying? You existed before you exist. It will be like that. So those are kind of grave thoughts. And the question is, when you see that, analyze it and come to a conclusion, nothing else can be true. And then you say, who thought about this? How did they come to such an analysis? That life, and cosmologically what it means is, yes, life has no origin. Or at least we don't know yet. So if the life has no origin, we don't know where the life came from. So life continues. So you are holding the body, the life only temporarily due. But life is there. Life is there, continues. Alright, so 60. Yate Rudra Shiva Tanuhu.
Yate Rudra Shiva Tanuhu.
Shiva Vishwaha Vesaji.
Shiva Vishwaha Veshaji.
So this is called Anushtup. Anushtup is eight letters in one foot. There are 4 feet. The tanja has 4 parts. 4 parts is 8 letters. So we read them 8 letters together. All right. So that's how the Sahasranam and Gita have been built. Okay, Anushtup. And the logical reason for it, psychological, and we don't have any neurological analysis why that works, except that probably we breathe. Okay. Yate Rudra Shiva Tanuhu.
Yate Rudra Shiva Tanu.
Shiva Ishwaha Vesaji.
Shiva Veshaji.
Shiva Rudrasya Veshaji.
Shiva Rudrasya Veshaji.
Tayano Mruda Jivase.
Tayano Mruda Jivase.
Tayano Mruda Jivase.
Tayano Mruda Jivase.
And then it comes these are, you can see the next one, which are not strictly 8 letters, there's an extra verb there. Okay, so it has a different meter. Okay, you follow that? The first one was 8 letters in each feet. Here you can see there are 9. Tejoshi Maidehi. Okay, so basically the recitation is Tejoshi Tejomaidehi.
Tejosi Tejomaidehi.
Tejoshi Tejomaidehi.
Tejosi Tejomaidehi.
That you need to do Veena, right? No, Pani. You have to do many times. Teja, give me some Teja. You know what I mean? Teja is brightness. Alright? See, brightness has this quality that it doesn't dull. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't, you can't extinguish the lamp. Lamp want to radiate. So that's the Teja. You know what I'm saying? I did this with the temple to think that people who are associated with the temple are at least like the lamp. You know what I'm saying? Feel for the lamp. Right? But if a lamp is extinguished, those are outside people, hopefully. You know what I mean? And then, okay. Tejosi Tejomaidehi.
Tejosi Tejomaidehi.
Viryamshi Viryamaidehi.
Viryamsi Viryamaidehi.
Viryam. Viryamsi Viryamashi Viryamaidehi.
Viryamsi Viryamaidehi.
Viryamashi. Viryamashi. Viryamashi Viryamaidehi.
Viryamashi Viryamaidehi.
Alright. Balamashi Balamaidehi.
Balamasi Balamaidehi.
Balamashi Balamaidehi.
Balamasi Balamaidehi.
Ojashi Ojamaidehi.
Ojosi Ojomaidehi.
Ojasi Ojamaidehi.
Ojosi Ojomaidehi.
Manyurashi Manyumaidehi.
Manyurasi Manyumaidehi.
Sahoshi Sahomaidehi.
Sahosi Sahomaidehi.
Sahosi Sahomaidehi.
Sahosi Sahomaidehi.
So after you do the Sankaranama, previous one, you can do these 3. Alright? It's a meaningful way. Meaningful way. Meaningful way. Every day morning. Meaningful way. You know what I mean? And see that if it works. Tejomai Dehi in the sense, see what we are saying is, see the universe has this built in somewhere. And you are just saying a little bit of it. You are not asking wealth. You are not asking housing. You know what I mean? You are saying little birium, little energy, strength. You know what I mean? Mai Dehi. Because somebody may need a little push. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Hey, look, I'm starting a day. You know what I mean? I don't know what I may encounter. Right? And you have given me life so far. I'm doing all right. You know what I'm saying? And so give me a little extra energy so that I can look and stare and so on, be useful. Because you don't need extra energy to survive. But anytime you request that I need extra energy to survive, you better die. We don't need you. We don't need you. You know what I mean? We don't need you because you're a nuisance. See, because there are other people who are disabled, who have more need, for whatever reason. And hence, you are saying, hey, look, you know, I don't know who designed the universe, what it is, and I have been sustained, I can breathe, I ate my breakfast, I'm doing fine. Give me extra energy so that I can be used to someone. It could be your own child, one father, one teacher, you know, your brother, your colleague, doesn't matter. You see what I'm saying? And have that in mind and develop that. Develop that. And see that whether you are getting this extra grace. See, not like, look, you know, give me. If you have saying, you know, Christian prayers are here, they also, those are useless. Because, so what happens is, they ask for money and when the money shows up, they can't handle it. They put it back on the side temple. Yeah, because you can't handle it, it's unstable. But with the OJ, you don't get unstable. So that is where these, you know, Vedic prayers are not that, give me rest. Okay, all right. And then finally, Manyurashi Manyum Maidehi.
Manyurasi Manyum Maidehi.
Manyurasi. Give me like the mind. You know what I mean? Mind, so that I can really think through. They translate courage is not courage, Manyu. Right? And Sahosi Saho Maidehi.
Sahosi Saho Maidehi.
That is the myth that I can really handle it. Now I'm saying Sahosi because big rains may come. There may be heat. There may be stuff. See, my point is I'm out on the field. I'm out on the field. So whatever protection, I can't go for a umbrella. But give me enough strength so that I can withstand it. You see what I'm saying? And I just look for those people, you know, where things happen and they go out and they rescue people, they do stuff. Okay. And then finally, Vishwani Deva Sarita Duritani Parashubha.
Vishwani Deva Sarita Duritani Parashubha.
Okay, so you can break into the, you know, Anustupa. Vishwani Deva Shavitaha.
Vishwani Deva Savitaha.
Duritani Parashubha.
Duritani Parashubha.
Yat Bhadram Tanna Ashubha.
Yad Bhadram Tanna Ashubha.
Yat Bhadram.
Yad Bhadram.
Tatna Ashubha.
Tatna Ashubha.
Tatna Ashubha.
It's Tanna.
Tanna. Tatna. Right. Tanna. Tanna Ashubha. Alright, very good. That's a hard one, don't bother. And then last one. Mitrasyaham chakshusha
Mitrasyaham chakshusha
Sarvani bhutani samikhe
Sarvani bhutani samikshe
Mitrasya chakshusha samikhyamahe.
Mitrasya chakshusha samikshamahe.
They're all independently powerful, but go slow, and gain energy by take. I think that the Sankarastati, I think part of Sankarastati, the top one, and Tejasi, I'm saying, and see by reciting the thing, and then see whether your eyes open up. You know what I mean? Eyes open up in the sense, new clients come. You know what I'm saying? People seek your help. That's the Tejasi, because what happens is your face will brighten up. You have you have less time in eating your lunch. Time will open up. You will need less sleep. You know what I'm saying? And people will notice it. Then they say, hey Kavish, you know what I mean? Can you do this? So that's how you don't go to advertising. Hey, look, I will do this. But Tejoshi, right? So like that. And then once you feel, so you have to experience that. Once you feel it, then you see, okay, yeah, what do the prayer do? How, prayer doesn't do anything outside, it's just in the mind. Mm-hmm. All right? Okay, all right. So now we want to talk about a little bit of this verb business. So what we did so far is we tried to find this karaka and the words. When we have these different kind of endings, and now we are going to see whether we can make some sentences. And so my thinking is that the verbs came much late. Verbs came much late because I think, as you might have noticed in our normal conversation and so on, we don't use many verbs because what happens is, it's being recording?
Yeah, it's going on.
What happens is, you see, we are content. Our ideas can be expressed by in the present tense by simply stating a tree. Suppose I said a tree, I don't have to say a tree exists. You know what I mean? Because the verbs only come if I have to create a context that here it was not a tree before, some time factor. Then I have to, so objects relationship in time. Object relationship in space is karaka. In, to, from, off. So that's the karaka. The bird is on the tree. So two objects. One relates to the other object on the tree. But now suppose you say the bird flew to the tree. So flew means flew from somewhere. Is a past tense. So then it has an action, and action has this particular time. And then we kind of come into so-called conjugation, because we have to relate, coming back to our original thoughts about the varna. Actions are not part of our psyche. Do you understand what I'm saying? What in your memory is my image, not my teaching image, not my eating image, not my walking image, but my object image. What I have in my memory is you as objects. You understand? So object does things. but that has nothing to do with how I capture information. So which means that when I see an action going on, I make that connection locally. I have objects in my head, so those objects, I kind of say, oh, this object moved from there to there. But that movement is not going to, I just noticed it, but I don't really capture it. It has no long-term value to me. So which means I can use my objects anytime I like. I don't know why it is true in the sense that whether it's a memory span, an amount of memory involved and so on, or how the brain captures information, how much details it can take. But anyway, so given all that, what happens is that when the Varna thing is conceptual, the verb thing is not conceptual. However, what happens is that once the conceptual words are created from Varna, then I can create some verbs which try to manifest created from Varna. Then I can create some verbs which try to manifest the property of that concept. In the sense that I come to a word kavish, or kavish is a difficult word, but kavi, right? I come to that word. The word by virtue of my conceptual arrangement. Obviously, kavi is not a good word. Kavi is not an object. What I'm trying to say is, we have those objects, like a tree, flower, man, sky, clouds. These objects which people are talking about through the varnas. So those objects we have. Then I see the tree is static, clouds are moving. So those are properties of those objects, right? So I kind of try to go another dimension, the saying that from that object I create a verb to say that it some kind of a river is flowing, right? So those kind of words can be created which give the property value to capture the property of the object. Some people think that these properties made those words. What they call root etymology. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that's fully true, because there's no reason. For example, a man doesn't really care where does the river come from. Am I getting dense? River is, let us say I give a name for the river. All I can do is that once I give a name to the river, for whatever reason, and then I call it Nadi for different reasons. You know what I mean? And then I kind of take that na, another, or some kind of those kind of word phrases to say that also a flowing object can be called Nadi. So Nadi was first an object, a river. So now what has happened is that object has transformed itself into an action, which eventually, as I was saying before, become a concept totally devoid of the object and becomes a totally conceptual thing. So that's the transition. That's the transition. Are you getting clear?
Mapping.
Mapping. But that release, in the sense that first we create an object world, you know what I mean? And which is called Sanya. Sanya in the sense, which are, the objects have these following names. Grass, tree, house, man, woman, boy, girl, you know what I mean? These objects. Star, cloud, objects. You know, primitive. Okay? So those objects kind of, I detect those objects through my, this, for whatever way I connect to them, I make a varna. Understanding of them. Where I think the property is probably linked to it, but internally, in my own mind. So now what happens is, after I created those words, Sanya, then I am trying to explicitly say the air is blowing. And when the air is blowing, I'm creating a verb out of air. And once I create a verb out of air, which is called blow, right? So air is not blowing, anything that blow I can use that verb. Right? So then what happens is, so in that process, eventually the flow becomes a concept. You know what I'm saying? And then the flow has to manifest itself as a river, or as air, or as ocean. You know what I mean? So the flow becomes and now once the flow becomes a higher object, then I can add other things to flow. Life flow, air flow, muscle flow, blood flow, water flow, which were not there before. There are objects there. So what I did was, from the object I got the property. From the property, now I created this verb. From the verb, I got this concept, which is not the object anymore, the property of flowing. And then once I have that, then I have a whole lot of objects. Then I can link them, and I have compounded words. So this process happened in Sanskrit, making it rich. You know what I'm saying? So like I can for some reason I can call Sagara. Sagara is like the ocean, right? But once I call Sagara, then Sagara can become a concept, a container, large container. How it becomes large container? Because first I have to kind of property. Properties is large. Is this? So then through verb analysis and so on, so I kind of say, oh, so anything big, large, static, and so on, I will call it a Sagara. Once I have that, then I say Shoka Sagara, Vaya Sagara, Prema Sagara, Vidya Sagara. You know what I'm saying? I can do all that. So Sagara is gone now. Alright? So that becomes the literary beauty of Sanskrit. The release of this. You follow that? So we are in the verbs. So the verbs, I do not know when the verbs came, when they classified them, which Panini did, Panini or some grammarians of that time, they classified them and they discovered there are two kinds of verbs. The way the people are using, this again we're going back to the Vedas. Because Vedas is our source, as I said before, to analyze. The word structure are in the Vedas. So that is where you see how the words are being used. And so this part, to say that there are two kinds of verbs, conceptually. You know what I'm saying? The way the people are using. This again we're going back to Vedas. Because Vedas is our source, as I said before, to analyze. The word structure are in the Vedas. So that is where you see how things are being used. And so this part to say that there are two kinds of verbs, conceptually. You know what I'm saying? Must have been genius. Which is not used in any other language. In the sense, so what I'm trying to convey is that philosophically, that I and the universe as two entities are somehow built in our cognitive function, in the Indian cognitive function. So what happened? What are the two kinds? One kind is called Parashmaipadi. Parashmaipadi. Did you read the chapter, lesson 2 or something in that book? 2 and 4. 2 and 4. Okay. So 2 Parashmaipadi. Parashmaipadi is when I'm doing a work where I don't benefit. You see what I'm saying? But it's not actually done on me. I'm doing an action, but it's not done on me. Like for example, definitely like when I breathe, I am breathing for you. I'm breathing to myself. So that's a different function than if I blow air to you. You follow that? So this kind of division. When I eat, right? I can't eat for you. So there are individual functions. You know what I mean? Which are called Atmanepadi. Again, those words, the Atmanepadi as a nomenclature is probably Paninian. But the Panini's claim to fame is to see that the verbs can be divided into these two parts. Atmanepadi, where I am doing let us say, I am doing a yajna. Know what I'm saying? And yajna for my benefit. Or I am doing yajna for the family benefit. World benefit. The difference. You know what I'm saying? So those kind of things that where I'm going for grocery to buy my food, which I need. I'm going for grocery to fetch food where other people also. Parasmepadi means you are doing it for the sake of. Who can say smai? Did we come across smai before? In Chaturthi Sampradana or smai didn't come? Smai comes in the pronouns. We have not done pronouns yet. Smai comes in pronouns. Alright. So Parashmai. Parashmai and similarly Atmane. Atmane also comes like in the Sampradana, Chaturthi. Alright? What is Sampradana? What is Sampradana? Sampradana? The port vibhakti. What does it mean? Sampradana. Yeah? Sampradana. Anyone? Not yet? Like, we had the Upaya. Upaya. Sampradaya. Do you find Sampradaya?
We may know the English word for it.
Sampradana.
Is it something similar to Sampradaya?
No, Sampradana is dative. Fourth paper. Fourth paper, dative. Which means Sampradana, that who is recipient of somebody else. So Atmane is for you, and Parashma is for somebody else. Okay. So there are two different kinds, Atmanepadi, Parashmepadi. Then what they discovered is, which is not known why that is so, they found, they classified, which I think is artificial, in the sense that they did one way and that has stuck. That is how we take it. That is not questioning why it is so, all right? Which are, it's like more empirically taking the various ways a verb is used. When the verb is used, the verb gets conjugated, it changes its ending, all right? So the way the verb will conjugate itself, for whatever reason, is of 10 kinds. Without specifying why there should be 10, but I think it's a pure classification. Take all the verbs together and then put them in bins, right? And 10 bins come out. Just a purely like put the animals of the world into groups, 2-legged, 4-legged, 50-legged, things like that. That's how the objects are. So without saying why they should be done that way. So those words existed, and those words, by classifying them into different bins, so 10 different classifications, and those 10 different ways of, so they are called, the root of those, or the so-called basis of those kind of verbs, were called dhatu. And there is something called dhatu pata, which I'll give you. Dhatu pata, which enumerates all the dhatus that they discovered. All right. So what they did was, they find the dhatus, and from the dhatus they also find how a dhatu is used in what kind of meaningful way. All right. Purely again from analyzing the context of the Vedas. So given that, so we have the first dhatu here. The first, that's 10 classes. So first class. So first class is here in the page 30. Right? What they're saying is that each dhatu, there are 10 classes now, and then can have 10 tenses. Do you follow? 10 tenses. 10 tenses. 10 tenses, which has to do with how do you divide the time between now, today, yesterday, few days back, long time back, long time back, tomorrow, in the future, likely to be future, things like that. Okay. So it's like that's not a complete set. I'll come to that later next time, or maybe another time, how those things are divided. And you can see that it's not a full complete set, but it reflects the way people thought about dividing time then. What has been popular in the literature, out of this, out of these 10 tenses, people use 5 mostly. Valmiki uses more, but here generally 5 seems to be, like one is present, and one is past, and one is what they call potential. Potential in the sense that, the English construct is like a you should, right? What should be done, what could be done. So that's kind of a thing. And then the other thing is like order. Order in the sense, do it, stop it, go at it, you know what I mean? So 5, which called agya, and that thing is called, the potential is called vidhiling. Vidhi, remember what the word vidhi, what does vidhi mean? Vidhi?
Fate.
Right, vidhi means whatever is the rule.
Destiny.
Yeah, whatever is rule. Whatever is the rule.
How
vidhi,
how
the
it's
rules.
done. Yeah.
Gata vidhi.
Yeah, puja vidhi,
Yeah.
right, snan vidhi, right? So those kind of things, vidhi. So vidhi, that more detail. And the present is called lat. So here we have the present tense, right? So present tense, can we now read them? So then again, like our case endings, it has three singular, dual, and plural. Remember the case endings we had? Can you say case endings of kupa, kupaha?
Kupaha, kupau.
Kupo, kupaha. Kupam, kupo, kupana.
Right.
Kupen, kupabhyam.
Kupena, not kupen.
Kupena,
Kupena.
kupena.
Uh-huh.
Kupabhyam, kupe. Kupai, kupabhyam, kupebhya.
Kupena, kupabhyam, kupevya. Or kupehi.
Kupebhya.
No, fourth is kupevya. Third is kupehi.
Kupehi.
Yeah.
Kupe. Then
Kupa, kupabhyam, kupevya.
Kupat, kupabhyam, kupebhya. Kupasya, kupayo, kupanam. Kupe, kupayo, kupeshu. Kup, kupo,
Not kup, kupa.
kupa, kupo, kupaha.
I think you have to read them more, though. It has to come to your memory, because it can't really, because otherwise you can't read literature. So you have to either, how about, you have to do a little more reading. Give time. So anyway, so those three, kupaha, kupau, kupaha. So singular, dual, plural. So those three, so in other words, that each of them has a conjugation, corresponding conjugation in verb. So singular has a singular verb, a dual has a dual verb, and the plural has a plural verb. Alright? So that is where you know that what connects to what. So in English, in Sanskrit, there is no other articles used. So verb itself conjugates. Now, also it takes 3 different persons. What's a person? Person is like I, you, and he. I is the first person, you, second person, and then anything besides I and you is the third person. You is you. You. You is undefined, but you, another person in a conversation. And then the third person, third is anything else who is not in the conversation.
Okay.
I, you, rest. So that could be a name, that could be an object, that could be anything else. Right? So that's the third person. So we have take a singular, dual, plural, first person, second person, third person. So with that, so they have the conjugation. Can you read? Vadami.
Vadami, vadavaha, vadamaha.
Right.
Vadasi, vadatha, vadat. Vadati, vadataha, vadanti.
Okay. So like that. So that's the present tense. Alright? And then you can Kavish, you can try that's in the same manner. You can, on the bottom of 31 you have khad.
Yeah.
Khad. So you can try khad in the same way. Which would be khadami.
Khadami, khadavaha, khadamaha.
Very good.
Khadasi, khadataha, khadat.
Khadata. Khadataha.
Khadati, khadataha, khadanti.
Right. In the second one plural, khadatha.
Khadatha.
Khadatha. That's it, just tha, without visarga.
Oh, khadat.
So there is no reason why they did that way, but somehow nobody has investigated, where they came from. The Sangya, I had a theory, where the word, Varna may be and how the words may be. But on this, there is no, so one is blank. One is blank in the sense where this, only thing we know so far is like older languages like the Telugu, Odia, Bengal, some of the languages, Kutchi or Sindhi, so they have these endings also. The question is whether people claim that endings went from Sanskrit to them, but reverse could be true. Because those languages probably would be existing. But we do not know fully. Okay? All right, you can try the next one. Tyaj. Tyajami.
Tyajami, tyadavaha, tyadamaha.
Not tyadavaha, tyajamaha.
Tyajambaha.
Tyajavaha, tyajamaha. Yeah.
Tyajami, tyajavaha, tyajamaha.
Right.
Tyajasi,
Why you say te? Tya.
tyajasi.
Yeah.
Tyayaha,
Tyajatha.
Trajataha,
Right.
Tyajatata, Tyajati, Tyajataha,
Not tyajati. Tyajati.
Tyajati, Tyajataha, Tyajanti, Tyajanti.
What are you reading? What is that page you are reading? You have some Telugu thing or something? This book you are reading? Okay, right. Okay. Right. So, Tyaj. So, the original word was Vad. So, Vad, you read this, right? If I did not read this, it doesn't work anyway. Know what I'm saying? So, certain amount of preparation is required to do this. But if you did not really, blah, blah, then blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, hand waving is so easy. Hand waving, I don't know where I think it happened that way. Stage पे चले जाएं देखें वहाँ क्या होता है. What will happen? Finally they will stop the curtain. So हमें क्या जाता है? I go on stage anyway, right? The worst they can do is they close the curtain. But I have no shame. It's okay. I have gone to many places they have closed curtain. So another place they close curtain. What is that? So the question that somehow has come. So we have to avoid that. I said no. So that's how the tejosi tejomai dehi. If you, so we have to avoid that. I said no. So that's how the tejosi tejomai dehi. If you take on a task, tejosi tejomai dehi. And that's how I like these children. And children have that. When they go to this spelling bees and so on, not that they know it. So let energy flow through me. I can see. You know what I'm saying? So like that. When the task comes, yes, let my all energy come together. I'm a little prepared. I'm not fully prepared, but I'm a little prepared. But I'm totally unprepared if I say so. Hey, look, don't put me on the stage. All right, okay. Then do the next one. G. G goes as Jayati. So Jayami. You say? Jayami.
Jayami. Jayavaha.
Yeah.
Jaya.
Maha.
Jayamaha.
Yeah.
Jayasi.
Very good.
Jayatha.
Uh-huh.
Jayatha.
Okay.
Jayati.
Yeah.
Jayataha.
Yeah.
Jayanti.
Jayanti. And then you can do Dhav.
Dhavami,
Right.
Dhavavaha,
Very good.
Dhavamaha,
Very good.
Dhavasi,
Mm-hmm.
Dhavathah,
Very good.
Dhavat,
Dhavatha.
Dhavatha. Tha.
Dhavatha,
Yeah, just the tha.
Dhavati,
Mm.
Dhavatah, Dhavanti.
All right. So, okay. So next, so you can take so three more of this and write in your book. All right. Like that. Write clearly and just see that you are not really making errors. All right. And then we can check this. And then this. Okay, all right. So they're using one more kind of thing here.
They have Pashyanti in this.
So in 14, right? Right. So this comes like the they call it fourth conjugation. So remember I said 10 classes. So 10 classes, from the 10 classes, 1, 4, 6 and 10 are more popular. All right, so we do them first and then we go to the other ones. So we did the 1 is the one which we just did. All right, so this is the 4. The conjugation type 4. So what happens is here, so in the first one almost the words stay as such, except with small variations, you know, and I'll tell what the variations are in another class. For example, vu becomes bhavati, bhavami. You know what I mean? Can you try vu on the same line as the page 30? Bhavami.
Bhavavaha. Bhavamaha.
Okay.
Bhavasi.
Right.
Bhavatha. Bhavatha.
Right.
Bhavati. Bhavataha. Bhavanti.
Okay. Then you can try something called Budh. Budh is like Bodhati. Alright? So, Bodhami. Yeah.
Bodhavaha, Bodhamaha,
Right.
Bodhasi, Bodhatha, Bodhatha,
Bodhatha.
Bodhatha,
Uh,
Bodhatha,
Right, good.
Bodhati, Bodhataha, Bodhanti,
Bo, not vo.
Bo.
Bodhanti,
Bodhanti.
Bodhanti,
With a ba sound, like a Buddha.
Bodhanti,
Budh.
Bodhanti,
Bodhanti.
Bodhanti.
Bodhati. Bodhataha. Bodhanti.
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 And similarly, you can do drush maybe, like a Pashyami.
Pashyami.
So drush becomes Pashya. Pashyami. Look at the page
Drishyami.
30. Yeah. Use your whole energies. Sit straight. I think she sits this thing and she's kind of, I think it irritates me now.
Drishyami.
Not Drishyami, Pashyami. Drus becomes Pashya.
Pashyami. Pashyavaha.
Yeah.
Pashyamaha.
Good.
Pashyasi.
Good.
Pashyayaha.
Pasyataha.
Pasyataha.
Yeah, then?
Pasyata.
No. Pasyataha, Pasyata.
Pasyata.
Right.
Pasyati. Pasyataha. Pasyanti.
Right. Be serious, be serious. You definitely are not serious, I'm convinced of it. You take casually. The way you sit, the way you look, the way you operate. I'm sorry. You have to line up. Line up, attention, like that. You know, it's not a military drill, but at the same time, cognition is not really easy. You know what I'm saying? Because unless your whole muscles, brain, mind are together, no learning. Okay, all right. So 4. So 4 we do. So this is called. Okay. So we have Nrut. All right. So Nrut. So Nrut becomes Nrutyami. You see that? So they take a ya. Okay. Can you try, JJ? Nrutyami.
Nrutyami, Nrutyavaha, Nrutyamaha.
Very good.
Nrutyasi,
Yeah.
Nrutyatha,
Right.
Nrutyatha.
Right.
Nrutati,
Nrutyati.
Nrutyati,
Right.
Nrutyataha, Nrutyanti.
All right. Good. So why not we try? You can say push.
Pushyami,
Very good.
Pushyavaha, Pushyamaha,
Very good.
Pushyasi,
Yeah.
Pushyatha,
Very good.
Pushyatha,
Right.
Pushyati, Pushyataha, Pushyanti.
All right. You want to try? Dip. Dip. There is. Yeah.
Divya.
Divyami. Divyaha.
Divyavaha.
Divyavaha. Divyamaha.
Right.
Divyasi. Divyayaha.
No, Divyataha.
Divyataha.
Uh-huh.
Divyaya.
Divyatha.
Divyata.
Divyatha. So where she gets the year? I think she reads the year probably.
Divyati. Divyataha. Divyanti.
Right. I think you have to, maybe you have to read some more of the Devanagari too. I can't accept those kind of these elementary errors. You have to read certain things maybe, or somehow get over the reading difficulties. I mean, what's a tha, what's a ya, what is this thing, what's a dha. Because these things will get more complicated. And we can't really go on doing those elementary errors. You know what I'm saying? You have 2 weeks now from today. Because I don't see what I can do. I can't really operate a class where you can distinguish between tha and a ya. At this level. Or whatever level I think we are. Or whatever level we're going for. You know what I mean? So we can't really. Okay, all right. And then we have the 6th class, which is the Tudd. Tudd. And that comes on the next page, 46. Alright? Tudd. So difference between Tudd and the first one, the first P, first class and 6th class. In the first class, what we did was when the ending comes, then the verb also changes. Bhu becomes bhava, budh becomes bodha. And the sixth class, they don't change at all. You know what I mean? So tud is tud. Alright? And then keep is keep, this is this. So, tudami,
Tudami, Tudavah, Tudamaha, Tudasi, Tudatha, Tudatha, Tudati, Tudatha, Tudanti.
right? You want to try keep?
Kshipami, Kshipami, Kshipavah, Kshipamaha, Kshipsi,
Kipasi.
Kshipsi,
No, kipasi, that's your Hindi style. Kipasi.
Kipasi,
Right. Pa, pa, pa.
Kshipasi.
Kipasi,
Right.
Kipatha,
Right.
Kipatha,
Right.
Kipati, Chipata, Chipanti,
Kshipanti.
Shpanti,
Kipanti. Alright.
Shipanti.
So we'll not, I will excuse you for that one. What we'll do is, I think you read 2 and 4 again for you, Vani. I need to really see you coming up. Otherwise, I won't put you in the drill. You know what I'm saying? You can attend the class, but not in the drill unless you can read properly. Drill? Because that I will lecturing in wrong things, which I don't want to do. You know what I mean? Like when I say that you read the following, please do it. Please do it so that you know at least that this is what expected. Then we can have the drills. But again, please forgive me not to go to this stage of chastising. You know what I'm saying? Not good. Not good for me, not good for you, not good for anyone. So sitting and follow or say on the upfront, now we didn't have time to do it. You know what I'm saying? And then we don't make a different attack. But don't spoil. My point is, what I'm on insisting is, we're in a long stream of Sanskrit scholarship. Let us not abuse the tradition. If we can't lift it, it's okay. But let us not abuse it. Or let me not a messenger abusing it. You see what I'm saying? By not screaming and, testing, you know what I'm saying? So old gurus, they will kind of say, hey, look, have you done this, have you done this, have you done this, have you done this? So we say, no, nothing new, it's okay. But then it's expected that we also have degrees, qualifications, and hence we'll rise up. Given us a microphone, we'll say a few words. Okay, all right, chalo. So that's one thing, and I wanted to also say you about this this translation thing which I have been seeing. It's a little advanced, but let us see whether we can really think about it. Which is on the page 52, right? So let us see whether we can really understand the case endings there. All right, 52. That's what we said we are going to translate, right? Who can read?
हिरण्यगर्भः समवर्तताग्रे भूतस्य जातः पतिरेक आसितः स दाधार पृथिवी द्यामुतेमा कस्मै देवाय हविषा विधेम.
Who has read it before? You have read it before or you have not read it?
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Then why you have to? Have you read Kabish before?
I have, but not
Do you-
as many times again. So
Okay,
I
all
may
right.
falter.
Okay, all right. Has anyone thought about what is expected?
We were supposed to translate this.
Right. But first you do is to see whether you can get the case endings right, right? And then what I thought today we'll do is to see if we can find the verbs. But if you have not really done it very well, we can just see the case endings, maybe some of them, and then see broadly what it may mean? What I'm trying to convey is that once you have some basic nouns and case endings and few verbs, these things are open to you. That's my pitch. You don't need 5 years of instructions. And so then once you get into it, it will self-perpetuate. You see new words, but you are convinced about your own fundamentals. But if you never develop fundamentals, so that's why I'm kind of stressing more on knowing them, recognizing them, seeing them, reading them properly. So I'm saying if you have difficulty about A and this thing, then naturally you can't do. So I'm saying you have to have your eyes are sharp, you kind of see it, things like that. So that's the bottom line. So Hiranya Garvaha, that goes like Kupaha. Hiranya Garvaha, right? So like masculine singular, nominative, okay. Samavartata agre is the word there. Agre goes as what? Coupe is locative, singular, masculine. Coupe.
Locative, singular.
Okay, coupe. All right. So agre. Do you follow that? So that's why I wanted you to recognize that I see this. All right. Bhutasya.
Yes.
Bhutasya would be
Masculine, locative.
not locative.
Genitive.
Genitive.
Genitive and
Singular. So bhuta is the word bhutasya. Bhutasya. So jataha is a verb, and jataha looks like kupaha, but we shall see jataha.
It's
Right?
a what?
Well, yeah, it's some of the verbs, some of the past participles can be used as nouns. Jataha is a past participle of ji or jan is janma. No, not jataha. Ja is to be born. Jayate va mriyate kadachit. Gita jayate. So jataha. So jataha patihi would be munihi. Nominative singular, ikaranta, patihi. Okay? Then what happens is eka. Eka had a visarga onto it, and visarga has been omitted because there's a following.
Yeah.
Ashit. Do you follow that? Sandhi?
Yeah.
So ashit. So asit forces that visarga to be dropped. You follow that? Otherwise, so the logic is patihi ekaha. Ekaha ashit. You know what I mean? Ekaha again goes at kupaha. You follow? But eka again, so eka is a number. So kupa has it can't have a dual and a plural. So it only goes at the singular, but masculine singular. Ekaha, ekam, ekena, ekaya, like that. But it doesn't have a dual or a plural. Do you follow? Okay. Sadadhara. So sa is a pronoun. Dadhara is a verb. Prathivim.
Prathivim.
Yeah.
Feminine.
Feminine of what word?
Accusative.
Accusative.
Singular.
Of the word. What we have to
Prithvi.
learn about it?
Prithvi.
What we have learned about it? Which word we have learned? Ikaranta, ikaranta.
Oh, okay.
Nadi. Nadi is the word. Nadi, Nadyav, Nadyaha. Okay, so Prithvi. Do you follow? Prithvi. Prithivim. Then Dhyamu Temam. So you can say Dhyamu Dhyamu temam is dhyam.
Dhyam.
Utemam. Okay, two words. Dhyamu, dhyam, and utemam. But that's okay. So that you check in the dictionary what utemam may mean and dhyam may mean. But what I want to convey was that they are accusative, just like prativim. You know, prativim is accusative. So dhyam is a difficult word. Comes from dyo, but dhyam and utemam. And then kashmi. Kashmi is a pronoun. We have not done that yet. We'll do. Devaya. Devaya goes as
Deva.
kupaya. Okay? Kupaya is
Dative.
yeah,
Singular.
singular, masculine. So devaya, havisha. Havisha goes as lata. You know, akaranta. Yeah? Havisha. So actually it is havi. Havi. So havisha, it's a plural. And which are the visharga of it? So it's not lata, it's havisha, but it's a difficult word. So it's called havish. Havish, which you have not done. It's like a, so havisha is a plural. Actually not plural, it is like a, what you call, instrumental. Havish. 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 Okay? Havish. Havisha. We have not done that yet. Vidhema. But that I expected. I expected that you kind of go steps beyond. Vidhema. Vidhema is a verb. Vidhema, when we do the, when you do this, I said 4-5 different tenses. Vidhi. Vidhi is a tense. So like that, vad becomes badami, badavaha, badama. So in the vidhi, in that vidhi, this thing, it will be vidheyam, vidheva, vidhema.
There is no visarga though.
Vidhe, no, there's no visharga.
No visarga.
In the vidhiling, there's no visharga. No visharga, vidheva, vidheva. So there is no reason why it is not there, why it is there. You know, we have not gone to that analysis yet. But the point is that the bada we did, so which would be badeyam, badeva, badema. You know what I mean? So like, it, so etad, that I should speak like this. Aham badeyam. I should speak. Etad, like this, right? So badeyam. So what should we do? Havisha. We know which deva we will worship with our havisha. Havisha is the havish. You know, the oblation. Alright? So ya. Ya is yaha. In a has forced the visarga to be out. Do you follow? Sandhi. Sandhi. Read Sandhi again. I'll repeat this another time, but I want you to get a flavor of it, or at least get it motivated to it, so that yaha atmada balada. So atmada balada. So there are two nouns. All right. Atmada. Okay. Yashya. Yashya, like shya. Sya is narashya. Kupashya, which is the genitive singular, which is of the pronoun yaha. Yaha. Yashya vishwa. Atmada valada jashya vishwa. Vishwa. This is a trick question. Vishwa upashate. What happens here? Vishwa upashate. When there's a vowel,
Vishwaha.
Vishwa. Vishwa upashate. So now upashate, Vishwa. Vishwa is the whole world. Upashate. Upashate is an Atmanepadi. they pray for themselves. You know what I mean? So who is that God? Okay? Upashate. Upashate. Prashisham would be accusative, singular, right? Just like kupam. Prashisham. Prasisham. 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 Yasya devaha. Devaha. Devaha again. Nominative singular, plural. Nominative plural. Nominative plural, masculine. Deva. Yasya devaha.
Deva.
Devaha. Yasya chaya mrutam. Chaya mrutam, accusative. Okay? Singular, masculine. Chaya mrutam. Actually, it's also is a neuter. So this amrita is neuter in this case. So this is a little tricky. You don't know what exactly would be, but it doesn't matter. It's a amrita. It's a chaya amrita. Okay, chaya amrita. Yashya mrityuhu. So when you know visarga, you know it's a masculine. So mrityuhu, mrityuhu. Yashya mrityuhu. Nominative singular. Like goes as Shadhu. 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 Mrityu. Kashmai devaya havisha vidhema. Okay, just like that before. And then yaha pranato. So that's an adverb. Okay? But that has also a sandhi where the visarga has become O. Pranato, nimishato. Okay, so na is kind of a doing, when there's a nasal, then the visarga becomes O. So that na is forcing the visarga to be O. And the next one is the mahitvika, also nasal. So that forces the nimishato visarga to be O. Nimishato. So there are both adverbs. Pranataha, nimishataha. Mahitvika. 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 Mahitvika is mahitva eka, which is a little tough. Let me not get into that now. Idraja. Raja.
Indra Raja.
No, Indra is not. Idraja. 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 Id is it. But you don't know that. Raja. But Raja is a singular masculine of a different word called Rajan. We don't know that yet. But just in Jagato. Jagato would be. So Visarga again. Jagataha. Jagataha Babhuva. So Jagataha. And in this case it is the genitive of Jagat. You don't know that yet. Genitive of Jagat. So that whole thing also we have to do. Alright? But I wanted to see that things that you know, things that you don't know. Right? See that we know, we can recognize these words. We didn't get any clue of that. So that kind of a distinction. Right? So let us, okay. So yena. No, ye ishe. Yes, again, ya ishe. E will do what? The vowel will force the. No, yaha. Yaha. Visharga. That's a standard thing. You know, I have tried that 5 times now.
Yaha a.
You know, when there's a vowel following, there's a visarga there. Okay? So yaha. Yaha ishe. So yaha ishe. Ishe would be locative, masculine, singular, like coupe. Ishe. Isa is the word, which becomes Jishu. Jishu? Jesus?
Jesus.
Right. So that's Isha. Right. Ishe. Ye ishe asya. Asya. Asya would be genitive singular. Dvipada chatuspadaha. Right? So Dvipadaha chatuspadaha. They're like upaha. You follow? Two masculine singulars. Dvipada, chatuspada, kashmai devaya parishavidema. Right? And then yena. Yena would be like the kupena, instrumental, singular, masculine.
Instrumental single masculine.
Do ugra. Do ugra. So this is the first time he's using an adjective. Though we did before, Gyam is though. Though is the word, which is the cosmos. Though. Though, but ugra prithvi. Ugra. The reason you can think why is the ugra as a word, you see the adjectives also take the gender of the noun. Right? So prithvi is a what gender? Three. Feminine.
Yeah.
So prithvi, because nadi, prithvi. So feminine gender. So that is the reason ugra becomes ugra. Ugra prithvi.
Okay.
Okay? Okay. Ugra prithvi. Chadrulla, the same thing. Drulla. Drulla is the, strong. Drha. Drha. It's a Vedic word. You don't have in the Drha. 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 Okay. Which is like a Drudha. It may have become Drudha. Drudha means holding tight and holding strong. Yena shwaha. Swaha would be
Upaha.
Kupa. Very good. Yena shwaha. Yena shwaha. Sthabitam is a verb. Sthabitam. Yena nakaha would be Kupa.
Upaha.
Okay. But the interpretation I leave to you. My point is that what I said you, just think it more and see, read it again, read it loud, read many times, you know what I mean? And we discuss again. So I'm just trying a different way of teaching to see whether we can really catch up. But that needs a genuine motivation and curiosity. You know what I'm saying? If you're really flat to it, it has no meaning. You know what I'm saying? It becomes making you unstable. But if you have really always desired to know what cosmology is, what this thing people are talking about, what universe is, how people think, you know what I mean? Then you say, oh, really, that's what they thought. You know what I mean? But if you are assuming type, assuming type in the sense of both, so there's a turtle on the earth is sitting, and then this the turtle, buoying, dead volcanoes come.
Yeah.
So what happened was that these things were not understood by people, and then those things happened. This became, and so it got forgotten. You can see that. They become dense. So what they're saying is that what is that object who makes the earth solid? How did the earth become solid? So they're questioning. Is there an object who did it? You know what I'm saying? Okay. Yena stavitaha, yena nakaha. I leave that to you. Yo antarikhe. Yo again, all forces the yo as the yaha, right? Yaha, antarikhe. Antarikhe would be locative, masculine, singular. Okay? Antarikhe like upe.
Upe.
Antarikhe. Rajasho. Rajasho you don't know, which is again as a genitive. Rajasho. Rajash word. So we'll do that. Rajashwar. Vimanaha. Vimanaha. Upaha. Very good. Kashmi Devaya. That's good. So anyway, so write that down and then read it few times and see whether it makes sense to you. And then that will determine what level we want to go, because I want to introduce more stuff like this if we can handle it. What I'm saying? It all becomes clumsy and so on, right? Then we shall see what to do. You know what I mean? See, logic is, I think you can do, but generate some amount of, respect for these scriptures, and say that this is different than, there's always a called secular literature. You follow what I'm saying? And there's a thought literature. So once we are becoming this scientific and so on, we become secular. We can't think that the air comes from somewhere because we think air exists. But interesting question happens, how does air become air? And that's the normally, you don't ask them. Air is there. So when you say, how does air become air? Then I say, oh, I don't know. How does it matter? So what you get, then when you say that some people not only it mattered to them, they created theories for it. And then that becomes the basis of this whole Vedic religion. You know what I mean? That is where does the air come from? Then somebody else will ask, where does the fire come from? Somebody else will ask, where does the earth come from? So through that you converge. Bhutasya jatah, you know what I mean? So it must be a common origin somewhere. So it becomes mystical. You know what I mean? So this is the origin of mysticism. But that becomes cosmology, because what happens is that you can't answer the questions because answers are not there. So then you have to speculate. Okay? All right. So what we do next? So we meet on 26th, 2 weeks from now, and then do those. And how about the other homework? Are you doing them or not doing them? You're doing some of them. Yeah. So do them. So I want to ask you anything.
I was curious to know if this we are going to take a break, right?
From August 2nd, yeah.
So do we have any assignment during break?
I think let us see how this goes. If you can't complete this, I have to see how best we can. I just want to do a little test of some kind. Hopefully reading. I don't know. I haven't decided that. And see if I thought that this write-up, this would be the test. But I think some people probably didn't organize themselves, so they were not really prepared for what's coming. But I don't want those kind of cock and bull stories. You know what I'm saying? Because we can't. So I want some kind of if people have real immersion, if they can get up at 4 o'clock, study it, think about it, and write few lines, research. So then it becomes interesting. Some new insight comes. You know what I mean? But that needs immersion. Commitment, and you get into it. You know what I mean? You're not like a chalta hai. Because some kind of huge brains have worked on it. So we can't just, so we shall see. So that, when you say what will be this thing, probably that's my aim. But we shall see, let other people show up, and we shall see what level they are and how they deal with it. Because, all right?
So next class is 26th.
26th.
Then we take off.
2nd we meet again. 26th we review this and try to see whether we can really say that, make an effort to write it. And if we find that's too difficult, too tall, then we can do some load tests on 2nd and get done. And then you may try on the vacation. But let us see if people come on par. Know what I'm saying? I think I think we have to go with the class average. I should not necessarily drag it. Even though that interests me, because the translation is something that has to be done. If there's any output from you people eventually. is some huge amount of scientific translation of texts, which has not been done. So this was the first effort to see, do you see anything different from your point of view? Do you understand? You can always copy it. There's a copy point of view. So I'm looking for people who are never copied, right? They can go to first principles, read them, think about them. They have some connection to Bhagavat, gain energy. So, but it could be that the time that we're taking is small. So we'll give a little more time, whether the Bhagavat energy comes. You know what I mean? But if Bhagavat energy doesn't come, then we will be like a dry wood. We'll never catch fire. You know what I'm saying? You can learn few things, do some kirtan here and there, but you'll never really catch fire. You know, don't be useful to anyone because you're not useful to yourself. That's my take. That's my take. That's my take. That means, you know, but I think it may come though. All I advise is that try to say that yes, we have purpose. Sanskrit is a vehicle. It's a tradition given to us. It has a deep history, deep literature, and I've been, you know, privileged to learn it and give it little time. And whatever it is, hey, look, hold up, hold up. Troubles do come. Hold up. I'm doing something. Like yajna. I'm doing something interesting. And see. Because that also you part of this philosophical process. You know, the study process, that's also part of it. Part of it. That I just not learning, but learning has a purpose. It's not self-enrichment, but it is pass on. Right? So pass on in the sense, I must be able to hold it, then I can pass on. You see what I'm saying? So the only different thing we are doing is, we are saying, no, everybody is capable of holding. So what I'm doing is trying to prepare yourself so that you can hold it. So, but question is whether we can do that in the given amount of time. And that is what I'm asking you. We can do it provided you pitch in a little more. You know, like World Cup happens, right? Then no India in the team. Not that they can't play, but nobody determined to win. And nobody motivated them, the coach and so on. Not that they're any different than this thing. You know what I'm saying? But that kind of a thing, like, look, come on. Come on. Come on. We're 1 billion people. Our legs cannot be that weak.
That's right.
And we are playing cricket. That also needs some kind of thing. So why not this? Right? So like that. So, you know, we shall see. Chalo. Asatoma sadgamaya tamashoma jyotirgamaya mrityoma amritam gamaya om shanti shanti shanti. All right, very good. Very good. Try out. It may happen. It will happen. I think it will happen. It will happen. It may not happen for all, but if you give it a little more energy, it will happen. You know, man? I think it will succeed. It will succeed. No, what happens is nobody has probably told you in